Hey everybody, time to get controversial. If you're wondering why I'm wearing a shirt, I don't know. I'm just having one of those weird moments where I want to wear clothes. I can't explain it. Can't explain it at all. So we are going to get seriously controversial here. And we're going to talk about dun 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 Cuties. Yes, that Netflix movie special that came out a few years back. Cuties. Now, I've actually been thinking about making this video on and off. First of all, I will say I don't have a Netflix subscription. I never actually have, so I haven't actually fully watched Cuties. I know my good friend Jack could help me out getting that, but I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood. I've read synopsis of this. I've looked up reviews not on Netflix, but on YouTube and other places. And I've come to a very, 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 very interesting conclusion. One of which helped me was to look up the creator of this show, this movie. So who is the creator, first and foremost, of Cuties? We're going to do a sort of review, but a sort of talk about what this show is really about. I am not supporting the show in any form or fashion, but once you realize what the show is about, really truly about, you kind of go, I missed that part, but still, I don't like it. So who is the creator of this show? A woman, a French Senegalese woman of Senegalese origin, Senegalese origin, by the name of Maïmouna Doucouré. Now, when I originally looked this chick up over a year ago, there was a picture of her that appeared for her to be a woman a black or brown skinned woman in her 40s. And I thought, damn, this tells me a lot. Now, I can't show the pictures here, but that picture that I found on Wikipedia about a year and a half ago disappeared suddenly. It just doesn't exist on Wikipedia. So I looked up the creator and director again, and all of a sudden there's the real pictures of her scattered all over the internet. This woman looks to be in her late 20s. She's actually 35, but the pictures of her make her look like she's in her late 20s at best. She's a black woman, all right. She's from Senegal. But I'll be honest with you, no. And that made it hard to believe, because I was like, usually black chicks and brown chicks from that area of the world ain't generally ugly. You might find some that ain't hot looking or good looking, but not ugly. There's something about this chick that just feels kind of ugly. Maybe it's because her cheekbones are like this and shit. Her face looks uneven. I don't know what it is. But I read an interview by her given to some online magazine, and she said she did not know that they were using some of the promotional material to promote the show on Netflix, such as it was, because in France, where she lives, she got pretty good reviews for Cuties. Then when Cuties gets over to America, there's all of this backlash. So she was surprised. So I was able to put two and two together, and she came up with this story of this shows the hypersexualization of children and youth as a bullshit excuse. From what I've been able to find on this woman so far, she's not married. She has no children. And most likely she's from a Muslim background. Now, is she middle class? Ain't no way to tell. Supposedly her father was a street sweeper and her mother had some other decent profession. So maybe at the time she was younger, which would be, let's see, she's 35, no, probably 36 now. Maybe 37. She would have had to have come up in the 90s at latest. Yeah, she was probably born in the 90s, so by the early 2000s, she was out of diapers. Pretty amazing. in a way of sorts. If you go back 35 years, that should tell you where she was. So her explanation is that she looked at girls when she was younger, and then as she became an adult, she would go back sort of and look over some of the girls now, and she didn't like what she saw. And that this inspired her to create Cuties so she could sort of put forward a message that's saying, hey, look, little girls dancing and hoeing and twerking and shit ain't right. Well, honey, if that was your idea with Cuties, you failed fucking miserably. I'm just going to go ahead and fucking say this. You failed miserably with Cuties. If your objective was to show that hypersexualization of children is wrong, you failed fucking miserably. But you also failed upwards, because everybody agrees with you on that because they hate Cutie because they think it's pedo bait. I don't even know what to say. I mean, she's a multimillionaire now. For those of you who don't know, she's a multimillionaire. She's got one more film coming up called Hawa, or Ha-Wa. That's supposed to be released later on this year. And everybody thinks she's the bee's knees. I mean, come the hell on. How the hell do you, at the Cuties, how the hell do you pull that shit off? I don't know. I really don't know. But what is this movie actually? Let's look back at the creator and writer, Miss. let me just figure out this name here. We'll call her Doucouré. Yeah, Doucouré. Because I'm trying to figure out some way to pronounce this name. By the way, she was born in 1985. So by the time she would reach the 90s, where twerking and everything else, she would have been at least 12 years old. Yep. Mm-hmm. Tells us everything we need to know. Yeah. Tell you everything she needs to know. Yep. So what is it with this woman? I think she grew up in a very conservative Muslim household. And Doucouré, she wanted to rebel like any other teenage girl does. And I can tell you right back around the 90s when she would have been a teenager, little girls were twerking and stuff like that and dancing seductively. Sexuality was beginning to bud and things like that. Now, if she comes from a traditional Muslim household, she would have been told, oh, no, you cannot do that. You cannot act like that. You cannot twerk it. No twerking. So she was probably wearing the little hijab and everything else and dressing. I've seen some pictures of the main female character in Cuties, Amy. There's evidence that she's dressing in hijab at times. The father of Amy is polygamous. So part of the backdrop story of Cuties is that Amy's father is bringing home a second wife. Wow. You're like, what the fuck, man? Damn, bro. You got one wifey and a few kids with her. I need a younger model. I need a younger model or some shit. What the fuck, man? Come on. But back to the creator of this. I believe Cuties is her wet dream. Yeah, her wet dream. Her freedom wet dream. Her teenage girl wet dream of freedom. This idea of, man, if I could only have gone out there and did a dance troupe, twerked, taking pictures of my vulva when I was a child and posted it online like all the other white girls were doing. Because the majority of the free-spirited, heavy sexualized characters in Cuties are white girls. The black girls are kind of reluctant to, or brown girls are kind of reluctant to get into the twerky thingy. But eventually it kind of happens. So you see what's going on. I haven't watched it. Like I said, I have read numerous synopses and reviews about this. So that's how I'm able to piece all of this together. This woman is giving you her dream, her teenage dream of freedom back in movie form. This is what she wanted to do when she was a kid. This is something she saw as a kid and said, oh my gosh, I wish I could have done that. So now she makes a movie about it. You gotta give her credit, though. I mean, damn, she made millions of dollars off of a movie about her fucking wet dream. I shit you not. Who the fuck gets away with that? Only in France. Only in America can you make a movie about your teenage wet dreams of independent sexuality and freedom, and people will pay you millions. It'll get starred on Netflix and basically cause a fucking lawsuit on Netflix. I mean, holy fucking shit. This shit is fucking hilarious in that response. But yeah, this is just her dream. This is what she wished she could have been as a child, while at the exact same time having the exact backdrop in order to escape. When you go too far, you want someplace to run back to. As an adult, once you go too far up, I can stop, but everything's fucked up. But as a child, as a teenager, you fuck up, you can always run back home to mommy and daddy, and mommy and daddy will make it better. Which is exactly what happens with the character of Amy. Amy goes from, within just a few months, from being a shy little Muslim girl who's 11 years old to twerking on stage. She helps steal somebody's phone and wallet. She takes a picture of her own pubic area, her private parts, and posts it online to social media to show that she's mature. Gets booted out of the troupe for this, and then in order to get back in the dance troupe, in order to do their last competitive dance, she pushes one of the other girls into a canal so that she can get in on the dance troupe. Then, finally, while she's standing up there dancing on the same day, her father is supposed to be bringing in the second wife. She's dancing up there on stage. She realizes that she's abandoned her mother and left her mother to deal with this all by herself. She starts crying while on stage and runs off stage in the middle of the fucking dance routine and goes back home. And her mother says, well, okay, because Amy's honest complaining about the way she's been acting. Mother says, no, leave my daughter alone. She doesn't have to go to the wedding. I have to go because that is my duty as the first wife. But my daughter doesn't need to and doesn't have to go to see this. So Amy puts on some nice clothes and a nice little job and goes back to being a child again. It's the thing that all teenagers do. They get so far into trouble, mom and dad yank them back, and maybe they get grounded, maybe they get chewed out, maybe mom and dad just say, stop. You're going too far. You're going to hurt yourself. And the child realizes, yeah, okay, yeah. They may be unhappy, but still they'll say, well, mom and dad were right, okay. But they have that security, that protection. They can go as far as being a whore as possible, but they can always realize, I'm being too much of a whore. I need to go back home and stop being a whore. And that's all this is. She's showing you her dream. That little bit of a dream she had as a teenage girl. I want to go out and be a whore. I want to dress like the white girls. I want to dance and twerk like the white girls. But I can't. I can dream of it, but my dad would kill me. And my mom would beat me bloody. So 20 years later, I'm going to put it out. I'm going to put it on Netflix. Because here's the interesting thing. Look at pictures of Doucouré and look at pictures of Amy. The skin color is near exactly the same. The hair is near exactly the same. It's her. Amy is her. Like I said, this is her wet dream fantasy of teenage girldom. That's all it is. It's not even pedo bait. It's not even pedo bait. Pedos want to get off to it. That's on fucking you, man. That's on the fucking pedos, okay? It's one thing I will say right here and right now. I'm not going to blame Netflix for pedos wanking to this shit, okay? That's not Netflix's fault. It's not Netflix's fault. Now, the promotional material that was used, even the creator, Doucouré, she's like, I wouldn't have used that. I don't know why they used that. That didn't make any sense. Now, Doucouré may be lying through her fucking teeth, but Doucouré, I think she just made some rebellious quasi teenage rebellion show for herself. That's it. I don't really think she was in there, oh God, man, all of these dirty white men are going to be fapping it to this girl. Yeah, they're going to all be dressing sexy and dancing sexy. Like, there's going to be white men all over jerking off to this, and I'm going to make millions. No. Just from the pictures of this woman and the interviews that I've read, that wasn't even on her mind. And I think she came up with the whole thing about, I just wanted to show a warning about the hypersexualization of the youth. I think she just came up with that out of nowhere after she found out that a lot of people were saying, it's pedo bait! Pedos! And this chick ain't no damn pedo. Okay, she's not a pedo. So, now, she might be, but I seriously doubt it. There's something about this whole damn thing that I'm like, no, she's not a pedo. I don't think she's a pedo. I think she just had some wild and wacky idea of what she was going to do. And this is what she came up with. So, this is not to say you need to go out and buy Cuties or rent it or view it or whatever else. Restart your Netflix subscription at your own leisure. But this is just my take on this film. This is just some middle-aged, 37-year-old woman's wet dream of what she wished she could have done when she was a teenager. Had she had the guts. But she didn't. So, take it or leave it. No children were harmed in the making of this film. No children were raped or molested in the making of this film. And, well, there might be some picture of some young girl's vulva somewhere out there on the internet. But this is the internet. We see plenty of that already. Okay? Alright, folks. I'm done. I'm just done. Everybody take care. Don't at me with this damn video, okay? Please, just don't. I'm just giving my opinion on this thing. I'm not sitting here trying to tell anybody to do anything. So don't come at me, bro. Unless you wants to get hurt. But don't come at me with the bullshit. But it's pedo bait, whatever. That's your opinion, man. I kind of think it's kind of pedo baity too, but after reading everything that I've looked at, I'm like, no, it's only pedo bait if you want it to be. Not because that's what she wants it to be. And at the end of the day, the director's interpretation is what matters. All right, then everybody take care. Have a blessed day.